This module will show you how to find duplicate cases. Data entry mistakes are a reality. Despite our best efforts, errors can and will be made. Duplicate cases may occur in your data for many reasons, including data entry errors in which the same case is accidentally entered more than once. Multiple cases share a common primary ID value, but have a different secondary ID value, such as family members who live all in the same house or have the same surname. Multiple cases represent the same case, but with different values for variables other than those that identify the case, such as multiple purchases made by the same person or company for different products or at different times. Identified duplicate cases is a function that allows you to define duplicate almost any way that you want and provide some control over the automatic determination of primary versus duplicate cases. It is good data cleaning practice to check for duplicate cases in your data set. You can easily check for this using the Data Identified Duplicates option. So Data, and then we come down to Identified Duplicate Cases. We left click. On the left-hand side is the variables that are currently in your data set. On the right-hand side, we have the option to define matching cases or to sort within matching groups. Commonly, we use the define matching cases. So let's move the identification number across into this box. This function identifies only cases that are exactly the same in all respects for the identification number. When we look down the bottom, it's actually going to create a new variable for us, and it's going to indicate which one of these it deems to be the primary case, where it will code 1 if it thinks it's unique and 0 if it thinks it's a duplicate. It's going to be called primary last in your data set, and we have the option to move the matching cases to the top of the file and also to have in our output display frequencies for the new created variables. With these two ticked, we click OK. And what you'll notice in our frequencies is that we have 12 valid cases, we have 2 duplicate cases, and we have 10 primary cases. So in other words, it's deeming 2 of these IDs to be the same as each other. Let's come up to our main data set and we can have a look. The 0 identifies where it thinks there is a duplicate case, and it's moved them all to the top together. So we can see 1008 it thinks is a duplicate, and 1008 it thinks is a primary, followed by 1019 and 1019. Because we have a small data set, it is quite easily to visually see where perhaps there may be a duplication. But as you can imagine, if we had a very large data set with thousands of IDs, this could be quite challenging. When we do a quick visual inspection, we can see that 1008 appears to be matching for exactly everything. So they are both deemed to be male, same date of birth, same weight, and same height. For 1019, they're deemed to both be female, same date of birth, however their weight is off by 1 and their height is the same. We can go back and actually filter to make sure that it will only identify a duplicate case which matches on all variables. However, if we do find a duplicate, we can't just delete it. We do need to go back to our data entry source and double check that it is not a mistake, or that it was actually meant to be there, and by some off chance you've got someone with, say, the same date of birth, weight, etc. So to run for all the variables, we're going to come up to primary last, right click and press clear. We're now going to rerun that duplicate identification. There's 2 options. You can either come up to data and come back down to ID duplicate cases, or if on your toolbar you have this little recall button, you can actually press this to recall your most recently used functions. So if we left click, you'll see that identify duplicate cases is at the top. Left click, and that is a direct way of getting back to this screen. To be able to match for a duplicate on all of these different variables, left click on the first variable, hold down the shift key and select all of them, and then use the arrow to bring them across. Alternatively, you could left click and just bring them across individually. Because we've deleted the primary last variable, we can keep this exactly the same, and it will now create a new one by the same name. Press OK, and you'll see in our output screen that we still have 12 valid cases. However, this time it's only recognised one as being a duplicate case and the other 11 to be unique or primary. If we come back into our data screen, we can see that it's now only moved 1008 to the top, and that's because all of these variables are now matching. But as a reminder, before we can just go in and delete what we perceive to be a duplicate case, we do need to go back to our original data and make sure that it is just a data entry mistake.